Everyone, thanks for the invite. I'm here to talk about open source MANO. My name is Eduardo Souza. I'm a software engineer with the OSM team within Canonical. We are one of the founding members of open source MANO, and we currently do a lot of development beside Ubuntu, which is our main product, in other areas. So why did OSM came into existence? OSM came into existence because of topics like network function virtualization and SDN, and one of the precursors was this white paper that joined a group of ISPs or carriers and outlined what were the benefits, the enablers, the challenges of NFV, and what what would be a good solution for that. These companies got together with NFV, and standards started coming out, and there was a need for an open source solution for the management and orchestration part of of NFV. So a standard emerged for the management and orchestration part, and this is the basic outline of it on the image on the right, where you can see three big blocks that compose it, and that would be your NFV infrastructure, so your servers and the software that runs it, your VNFs. And those would be your 5G cores, EPCs, or something as simple as a DNS server. And then you'd have your MANO stack. So could be anything. In this case, we are talking about open source MANO. So open source MANO, or OSM for short, mainly focuses in the management and orchestration of VNFs, network services, and network slices. The VNFs are abstracted with the information model that OSM uses. So you don't need to know what your NFVI is. You can just define what you need in terms of CPU, memory, RAM, and networking, and storage, and you can deploy something onto that infrastructure. OSM can also deploy CNF-based workloads, in this case Kubernetes. They can be either Helm charts or Juju charms KNFs, and it can also manage physical functions such as routers or switches that you need, and that you can do it through Juju charms as well. It can also perform day 0, day 1, and day 2 configuration of VNFs, CNFs, and PNFs. For the case of PNFs, day 0 and day 1 don't apply because they are already deployed, and you will just change your configuration. OSM in this case occupies that green box on the right corner, and it will interact with the different systems. So to be a bit more specific, the orchestration stack would be OSM in the middle, where it exposes a northbound interface in order to be used by other softwares like OSSs, BSSs, and in the case of 5G GASP, OpenSlice, in order to provide capabilities of orchestration that the other softwares will consume. In the bottom, you'll see the southbound of OSM, where it can interact with different VMs or different WAN infrastructure managers or WIMs, and in this case also configure VNFs, PNFs, and KNFs. So why does standardization matters in the case of OSM? So our NBI, as we've previously seen, is based on Sol5, which means that you can build a connector based in the Sol5 specification, and you should be able to connect with the NBI of OSM. This also means that you'd be able to replace OSM for another MANO stack if it supported Sol5. So it makes it a bit more interchangeable. The VNF and network service information model is based on the NFV Sol6, which means that there is a lot of effort coming from all over the industry to specify an information model that you can use and that present a shared knowledge of everyone. We have, of course, made some augmentations to it in order to provide configuration primitives for VNFs and KNFs. In release 11, which is next month or 2 months, we will be also introducing Sol 4 and Sol 7, which are the standardization of VNF packages and network service packages. Other features that we can talk about is network slicing, which is loosely based in the 3GPP specs that were introduced at the time. We also have SDN integration, which can be in the form of ONOs, Open Daylight, or even commercial offerings like Arista, Cloud Vision, and Juniper Contrail. This will allow you to perform intra-data center configuration of your networking, if you have it. It also has one infrastructure management integration in order to control the transport layers between data centers or points of presence, as you might call it. For this, the most relevant would be the ONF TAPI interface that we provide, so you can develop on that. Other plugins exist, but they are not as widely used. It also offers EPA capabilities in the case of you need something specific like huge pages, or you need to control the NUMA the NUMA the NUMA of the CPU where you're at, where your VNF will be deployed. It also provides SDN Assist, which is a technology developed within OSM that allows you to directly program a switch, an SDN switch, to create a line between two physical NICs. So if you had SRIOV or PCI pass-through, you'd be able to directly connect them through an SDN switch. It also supports day 0, day 1, and day 2 configurations. So day 0 in the case of VMs would be your cloud init. In the case of Helm charts or Juju charms would be your standard config. Day 1 would be the same, and for the case of VMs would be through Juju charms. In the case of day 2 configuration, which is supported, it's limited in Helm, but in the case of VNFs and Juju-based KNFs, you're able to do more configurations in terms of, let's say you need to update a rule within your container, you'd be able to do it, or to add certificates, you'd be able to do it. We also provide limited VNF monitoring and scaling, and we can also deploy VNF workloads into public clouds such as AWS and Azure. This can be targeted as a beam. In release 11, hopefully we will have Google Cloud as a VM as well. These are links for the community. So you have the website, the wiki, where you can find a lot of information of what I've talked about. And if you have any doubts or problems, you can reach out through Slack to me or to any member of the community. We are willing to help anyone that's interested in OSM. And we also have Charmed OSM, which is Canonical's distribution of OSM. It's fairly similar to standard OSM, and it's free to use as well. And this is it in terms of presentation. Any questions?
Thank you, Eduardo. We have now a brief moment for questions. We're keeping with the schedule, so this is good. So we have 1 minute for questions.
I just wanted to say one thing because I saw a question earlier regarding was it LCM operations through Elm and K. So OSM allows you to run some of the day 2 configurations like Elm upgrade in the case of Helm. But for example, for Juju based KNFs, you're able to have more granular set of operations that you can run. There are a lot of videos in YouTube from the OSM community about it, and I think there was some videos from yesterday's KubeCon about it as well.